Recorded live with little or no editing, it's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going to be going over Burnzy's roster. They are something like 18 million in Diamond 3, I believe they said. Let's double check that to be safe. Yes, 18 million, Platinum 3, my bad. Platinum 3, 18 million, which is a great place to play. I enjoy Platinum 3. We were talking about going up against your opponents and the spread of roster TCP and skill in Plat 3 is really good. You're facing opponents who sometimes know what they're doing and sometimes don't. So if you're in Plat 3, this one's for you. We're also going to be talking about fifth members for some teams and whether or not you want to run on offense or defense with certain teams. Because in Plat 3, you have enough that you can make some decisions, and it all kind of depends on your roster size. So, team number 1 is going to be the YA team. Now, what we want to do here with this one is actually take America Chavez out of it, which is going to reduce the health bar of the team, but we're going to be replacing her with Quicksilver as a striker. Now, he's a hero brawler, so he's going to be taking a lot of turns and doing the double taps with Miss Marvel. So you're going to get some great opening damage out of the team like never before. And what it basically forces you to do is the team that you would bring in for this 700 YA is you're going to have to push a little harder than that. You're going to have to bring in something a little bit bigger than that for the Quicksilver build because you're going to get slapped around in the opening moves, even though their health bar is smaller than what would be without America Chavez. It works as is. This is fine, but I think we can do better, so I'm going to give this one an A-, and I think we should be moving to Quicksilver. I will be doing that on my defense because I am just finally getting my Quicksilver in better shape to play. So, team number 2 is the Unlimited X-Men. We have great placement, great ISOs. This is a fantastic team to be putting in here with Resurrection Protocols. Jguisti, who is helping us, by the way, he says that you can still do the mirror, but it's a really ugly match, and you got to rewind Gambit and coin flips to make the difference and all kinds of weird stuff, and it's not great. What you want to end up using to counter this is the Walking Hate team, which is Dormammu and Kestrel and SA members and Shang-Chi. This is a great team for Plat 3 and below, just the way it is, because some people may not know about the Walking Hate counter and how good it is to defeat this team. And they're going to try mirror matches, and they're going to stumble a bit. So down at lower levels, when you're outside of Masters, this is great. Just run it as is, the standard 5-piece. I like it. I like the ISOs. This is exactly what I'm running. I'm going to go ahead and give this one an A. Number 3. Now, here is where we talk about whether you want offense or defense. If you're getting it done without Gamma, then put them on defense. The other day I finished a Crucible and I was like, I like had a choice of 3 teams for my last matchup and Gamma was one of them. And it was like, I could have put Gamma on defense. And so I too will be moving Gamma to defense, I think. However, do you want to replace the YA? Do you want to replace Infinity Watch? Or do you want to have both of those on and keep Gamma for your offense? That's all up to you. I think the best replacement for Room 3 is going to be an Infinity Watch team. You treat Room 3 like it's blank. I think there's a bleed thing in there, something that doesn't amount to much. But this is fine. There are some choices on ISOs. You could do Green Hulk as a striker. You could do Brawn as a skirmisher. You could do all blue 2.4 healers. You could do all the green Gamma as blue 2.5 fortifiers. I hear that's all the rave. Still haven't tested it. Would love to hear from other people if you're trying out that blue ISO 5 fortifier because it gives them drain and they start stealing health, and then they have barrier, which makes them tougher to get through. So they're tougher and they're also healing like if they were healers, and it works. I hear it's great. So there's some options. So I don't really care what you put on. I mean, Gamma's so good. You could randomly place ISOs on Gamma and probably come out all right. So I like this. It's fine. The placement's good. I'm going to go ahead and give this an A. There's some options for Room 3 if you guys are curious about that. Room 4. We don't talk about Room 4. It's the same thing. It's been the same thing as Room 6 in previous seasons, and it's lame, so we're just going to move on. Your MOE is going to be whatever you put here. Doesn't matter. All right. Now, room 5 is the Darkhold. Now, we're taking Quicksilver off of this team and moving it to the YA in room 1, so we need to find a replacement. Scarlet Witch is actually pretty good, especially if she gets around to revitalize, healing the team up. She heals herself 100% and then redistributes the health. Real good, healing the team. Causes you some efficiency loss there. So she's not a terrible choice for 5th. Up in Masters, people like to run Apocalypse, is what I'm told, because I haven't been to Masters in a while. I don't push that hard in Crucible, especially during these rules. But Masters, they're running Apocalypse. It's kind of the team to beat there. However, you may need Apocalypse on your offense to get through things like I do. I keep Apocalypse on offense. He's very useful for me and what I'm doing, especially in my league. I don't need him on defense. I do like him on offense for the variety of stuff that we see in Platinum 3. So one of the best choices for this team to really mix it up, especially if you're under Masters, is going to be Emma. Emma's going to change the speed of this team, and people who don't know and try a tangled comp into this are going to find out that MLF goes in between the 2 tangled members, 99 and Weaver, and can screw things up for you. So Emma makes this a little bit more tricky, and you can catch some people off guard. I think that's a great choice for Burnzy for the time being. I think they should try it out, see how that goes. Otherwise, placement, all this stuff is just fine. This team is going to get an A- because we just need that one switcheroo. Be sure, if you're a little bit newer to Marvel Strike Force, take note of the placement. This is how you want placement. Whatever 5th you're putting in is going to go with where Quicksilver is, whether it be Scarlet Witch or Emma or APOC, whatever. You want to make sure that your Morgan is adjacent to Agatha, with Agatha being to the outside because of assists and stuff like that. All right, and team number 6 is the Rebirth team. We have Maria Hill in here. Maria Hill has a passive that heals whenever somebody blocks, and this team blocks 180% of the time. So you get a lot of passive healing out of her. However, Death Seed wrecks this team. You come in with a special. You don't even need to come in with a special, honestly. Death Seed's probably going to wreck this team because of the imbalance in power levels. Maria Hill is a liability because she is not built big enough. Once you kill the 5th, whoever they are, whether it's Maria Hill, whether it's Kingpin, whether it's, a U.S. agent, whatever you put in here, it's a liability if they're not big enough. So if you're going to put in a 5th outside of U.S. agent, you want them to be built as big or bigger than anybody else so they can't be killed off quickly, because that Death Seed team will wreck shop, especially against Peggy. It does things and stuff. So if Maria Hill was, 180, 200K power, I would say this is fantastic. Otherwise, I say switch to a Zemo of comparable build, switch to a US agent of comparable build, and try that, because especially if you're running the Zemo build, by the way, you want your Winter Soldier to be a little bit bigger, because Zemo's speeding up Winter Soldier, and the timing of that takes place, and Winter Soldier can delete someone if he's powerful enough. So that's kind of where you want to go with the Zemo. I think just run the 5-piece. Get them all up into the green, run the 5-piece. It's a raid team we're going to be building and using for a while. It works in incursions, and I have gear tier 16 on all of mine in incursions. And I'm starting to reach that point where they're not getting it done and I need to build them bigger. So I'll probably be putting in levels first, hopefully not having to put any more teal gear on them. But you can build them big is what I'm saying. So go with a 5-piece if you want. Otherwise, if you're going to put in a 5th, just make sure that they're big enough to stay up with this team. So this one is going to get a B. I think the power levels need work on this team regardless of who you're using. Placement is fine. On this one, if you're putting in the 5th, maybe we want to move them away from Captain America, depending on the power levels of how squishy they are, the splash damage coming off, and whatnot. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Maria Hill's going to get killed by a Death Seed real fast, regardless of whether they use the ultimate or the special from Archangel first. I think she could get clipped off in a hurry. So that's it for team number 6. Remember, Scopely, we hate your rules in room number 4 for sure, plus other stuff, so please give us fresh rules. And remember also, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.